Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am excited today because I am playing with some new makeup. I have got the new Dior matte foundation, a couple of new Rare Beauty products, a new Dior Quint, a new drugstore concealer, just some fun things that I'm gonna be trying out with y'all. Some things worked, some things I had a little issue with, so it should be interesting to say the least. And the first thing I'm gonna talk about is a new perfume. Dossier sent me another new perfume, and this one is called Floral Honeysuckle. So this one is supposed to be the dupe for Gucci Bloom. If you don't know about Dossier, they are an inspiration perfume house. They take a lot of very luxury, high-end, very expensive perfumes, and they make their own version of that same perfume for a very low price. Most of their products or most of their perfumes are $29, which I think is amazing. I prefer some of them over the original. For instance, Oriental Cherry is their dupe for Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. I love Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. Oriental Cherry to me smells just the same. It lasts twice as long. So there's gonna be some where you find them to be even better than the original in some aspects. But this one is, again, Gucci Bloom. It has top notes of green leaves, orange, and honeysuckle, middle notes of jasmine and tuberose, and base notes of orris, sandalwood, and vanilla. Now this is one that I have smelled the original in store, but I don't own it. From what I remember, this smells very similar. Now to me, this is more of a spring summer scent. It is very floral. I do get the tuberose, even though it's a mid note, I get that right off the bat. I love tuberose. And it does have a little bit of greenness to it, which I'm typically not a fan of green perfumes, but I like this one. And I do think it's going to be very perfect for that spring, summertime. I just think of like spring is what comes to mind when I smell this. If you like floral notes, if you like those fresh, not so much fruity, it says it has orange. I guess I can smell a little bit of that citrus, but it's more fresh and floral. I think you're gonna really like this. So Floral Honeysuckle, inspired by Gucci Bloom. So that is one of the newest perfumes added to my collection. Now let's talk about makeup and see what did and didn't work out of these new items. So let's go ahead and jump into the look. So much new stuff has been launching lately, and I purchased a lot of it, and some of it still has not gotten here. We had a snowstorm, which for Tennessee doesn't need to amount to much. However, we did have a record snowfall in Nashville, and that has set deliveries back. I mean, just those 2 to 3 days. I have not gotten stuff that I ordered like over 2 weeks ago. It's crazy. I'm never one to get stuff out the day after it launches. I don't overnight things. I'm not trying to run that rat race. I cannot for my sanity. I've said that before. So it may be a little while. I like to test out my products before I use them, but I will be doing like the new Charlotte Tilbury foundation, the new Chanel foundation. I have either purchased those, gotten them, or I'm waiting for them. Mixture of some of those, and I will get them out. It just may not be today. So I'm gonna start with Complexion. It is the season of dryness for my skin. Tight feeling, like I'm loading up on hydrating skincare. It's just when the heater is on and it's colder outside, my skin gets super tight and flaky and just not fun. So I have been using the Beauty Pie Triple Hyaluronic Acid Hydroplum Dewy Skin Mist before, I just doused myself, y'all. I can't. I need as much as I can get. I have been using this before I start my complexion products kind of as a primer because I don't use primers much at all anymore, but this kind of just gives a little bit of hydration back to my skin before I put layers of makeup on. So the corrector I'm gonna use is not new. However, I haven't done this specific technique or combination on camera yet. I have been talking about the Beauty Pie Super Luminous Under Eye Genius Correctors for a few weeks now, and I have both colors. So I have light medium and medium deep. And I had someone ask if I could try them out mixed because she finds the light to be too light and the deep to be too deep. So I have been mixing them lately, and I thought I would do that on camera as well. So these are the two shades, the light one on top, and then the medium deep is more of like a much peachier orange shade. So I'm just going to kind of dip my finger into both, mix them up. I don't care if the colors mix a little bit in the actual product. And then I'm just going to press that in with my finger. I have been using a brush with this specific product, but I actually find that the finger works better. I feel like there are some correctors I have that I prefer with a brush and some that I prefer with a finger, and this is one that I like this method better. This is one of the more hydrating correctors that I own. So I have been reaching for it quite a bit lately because, again, my dryness is just flaring up and I need all the hydration I can get, which is funny because I'm using a matte foundation today, but you know. Okay, I am going to use this Rare Beauty bronzer, but I used it with this foundation once before, and I found that while blending it out on my forehead, it really picked up the foundation. Now, I don't know if that's the foundation's fault or the bronzer's fault. I haven't had a chance to play with this with another cream bronzer, but because I wanted to use them both again today, I thought that I would underpaint and see if that helps, meaning I'm going to apply the bronzer first and then put the foundation on top of it. So I'm using my favorite brush for cream bronzer. This is the Hourglass Vanish foundation brush. And this I got in the shade Always Sunny, which there's like 5 or 6 shades, and this one's kind of right in the middle. I could probably do the one underneath as well. The one above this, darker, would be too dark. I just really like a bronzer. So this is a very creamy product. So what I have found is that I can take this brush, which is pretty dense, and actually paint the product onto the brush. I mean, it's basically the same thing as doing that, but this is just how I've been doing it. So the product's on the brush. I am going to put this everywhere I would put a cream bronzer. It's just I don't have any foundation on yet. Now, you can see because I don't have foundation on yet, I can be a little sloppy with this. You're going to be like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? But I promise that once we put foundation over the top of it, it's going to work out. See what I mean with the color? I mean, I definitely could have gone down. This works. It was hard for me to determine online, but it's not enough for me to feel like I need to send it back. Even though y'all are probably looking at it saying, send it back. I promise it's gonna work out. I like this method because I just don't have to worry about it as much being perfect in the application. Now this blends out really easily. It's really creamy, as you could see when I was applying it to the brush. I have not just striped it on my skin and blended it out yet because that's just not my favorite method to do any kind of stick bronzer. But I do feel like the formula would actually be pretty easy to blend out if you were to just paint it on your face. Now let's use the Dior Forever Transfer Proof 24-Hour Foundation Matte. It's the matte foundation. This does have SPF 15, which I'm like, what is the point? I will never understand putting an SPF 15 or 20 or even a 25 in foundation. What it does is it makes people feel like they're wearing SPF. I never, ever, ever, ever rely on a foundation within a makeup product, especially if it's SPF 15. It's just not enough sun coverage. I always wear a separate sunscreen underneath, but it is SPF 15. Looks to be in 42 shades. It's hard to tell on the Sephora site how deep those shades actually go, but it does look like they could stand to add deeper colors to this collection. It's like 3 arms of lighter to medium tones and then like half an arm of deep tones. So while 42 sounds like a lot, I do think they could probably vary those tones immensely. It's a medium coverage, matte finish. Ingredient callouts, it says, you know, it's free of parabens and formaldehydes and phthalates and mineral oil, but this does have fragrance in it. If you are sensitive to fragrance or if you do not like fragrance in your products, you're probably not going to have a lot of luxury foundations in your collection anyhow, because unfortunately they are all very highly fragranced. I got the shade 3N because this is what I am in the Dior Air Flash foundation, but this is darker than the 3N in that. Y'all, you probably are like, put some foundation on your face. I just looked in the viewfinder and I look crazy. So let's put some foundation on. This is a very, see, it's a little bit darker. It's runny, so it's not a thick formula by any means. And to me, while I didn't see it on any of the marketing materials, and I could have missed it, but to me, this is a liquid to almost powder formula. You have to work fast with it. I will say that. I have learned that for sure, because when I first applied it, I guess I didn't work fast enough. I think what I did was I like dotted it all around my face, not just one side. And I went in, and by the time I got to the, second side, it had almost dried down a little bit and it applied a little patchy. Again, I will make this color work, but I would have been better with 2 in. So I don't necessarily think that you're going to be able to take all of your Dior foundations and go by that shade. So I'm just going to take my Beauty Blender, my e.l.f. sponge, and press that into the skin. And I will note, I'm going to go in and tell y'all I really like how this foundation wears. It's not super like suck the moisture out of your skin type of matte feel, but there is one section of my face right here, it's coming off in the viewfinder, I know you can see it, that with certain formulations does not hold on to product. And this is one of them. For some reason, I cannot get that area of my face to hold on to this foundation, which is honestly annoying. Now, this says it has iris extract, which guards against oxidation. However, I do feel like it oxidizes a bit on the skin. So again, keep that in mind when choosing a color as well. So there are a couple of cons and pros with this foundation. I do like how it wears. It lasts all day on me, but the color is a little off for me. And again, there's just some areas where it won't stick and it becomes obvious throughout the day. I can still see that bronzer underneath. It's very subtle, but I think with how dark this foundation is, it's going to be enough. Now let's go into a much more reasonably priced concealer. This is a newer one from Maybelline. This is the Superstay Active Wear Concealer. 30-hour concealer, which I'm sorry, but I feel like we need to have a different discussion if y'all are wearing your concealer for 30 hours. The marketing has gotten out of hand, in my opinion. It's just too much. Like, just put long-wearing concealer. That's all I care about. I don't need it to last 30 hours. I don't need it to last 24 hours. I just want it to be a long wear concealer. So I got the shade 27. Not easy to pick these shades out. I bought this online at Ulta. I have the other Superstay. I can't remember the name of that one. It's in like almost like a squeezy tube. And I actually really like that one. This one is not as good in my opinion. It's a very thin consistency, which is not a bad thing for under the eyes. I mean, none of us really need to be caking on anything super thick. It's not as much coverage as I would prefer, and it just wears okay. Now, I always compare new concealers against my favorite Clinique Even Better Concealer Eraser, whatever it's called. It's got the longest name known to man, and it's just unfortunate because it is the best concealer. I always compare it to that. It is not as hydrating as that one. It doesn't have as much coverage as that one. It's not bad. But as far as drugstore concealers go, I much prefer the other Maybelline one. This one, just the Maybelline Superstay. I prefer this one over the Active Wear. All right, let's let that sink in. Let's go to the eyes. Let's talk about something I love. This is the new Quint, one of the new Quints. I bought both of them. One of them came broken, so I'm waiting on a replacement. If you want to see a look with that one, I would definitely do it. But this is the peach one, and it is called Organza 719. So, I mean, right up my alley. If you are new to my channel, peach is my favorite makeup color. It's my favorite. The only thing I don't love peach on is lips, but my eyeshadow, my blush, my highlight, peach. All the way. I love it. So when I saw this, jumped right on it. I used it yesterday for the first time, and in true Dior Quint fashion, which I happen to love them, I loved the look. And I feel like this is more all-inclusive than some of the other Dior Quints that I have. A lot of times I have to pull out another palette with those. This one I can get a full look out of, It's not gonna be the most intricate look ever, but do I do those? No. So I'm gonna start out with this shade right down here, this peach shade. And I'm gonna use my Wayne Goss number 3 brush and put that in the crease. So I would think these are all considered, the middle shade would probably be considered a matte. I think the other 3, not the gold shade that we're gonna use on the lid, but the other 3 are probably considered more of like a satin, maybe even a satin matte. And then the gold shade that you'll see in a minute is definitely more of a shimmer shade. This right here is just my favorite color. Like I could just put this all over the lid, up into the crease, put some mascara on, call it a day. I feel like with my style of makeup, with my eye color, with my skin color, I just can't go wrong with peaches. So when I saw this palette, I immediately, I didn't even think twice. I said, yeah, I'm gonna get it. I also love pink. So, you know, the other one was kind of a no-brainer for me as well. I'm going pretty high up, like I'm not leaving a ton of space in between this shade and my brow, just because I love this shade so much and I want it to be a little bit more blown out. I'm gonna take this shade, which is very different. It's almost like an olivey brown, like it has a tinge of olive to it. Don't know that I have anything like it in my collection, honestly, but I'm gonna take that on a Rephr 28 brush and I'm gonna put that just on the outer corner. Now this is not a dark shade. This is really just to give a tiny bit of differentiation between the outer corner and the lid color that I'm about to put on. This is a very pretty color though, and I imagine it would be really pretty as just a wash of color all over the eye. I will say these Dior Quints are some of my favorite to use on mothers of the bride, grandmothers of the bride. I feel like these formulas are very forgiving on mature eyelids, or, you know, anybody that may have some fine lines and crepiness on our eyelids that we don't want to make more apparent. I really like the formula of these Quints. So I'm gonna take my finger with this gold shade, which is very gold. It's a very yellow gold and very pigmented, as you can see. And I'm just gonna put that in the first, or on the first half of the lid, to meet it up with that olive taupe color. And that's it. That's all I am doing for the eyes. So let's go ahead and finish up the face. Okay, let's set the face. We're gonna use the Rare Beauty. This is the Always an Optimist Soft Radiance Setting Powder. And I got the shade Light Medium. There are 5 shades. It is super finely milled, silky to the touch, goes on light and airy, sheer seamless coverage with a subtle but visible radiance and natural finish. I will say I love the packaging. When you open it, it has the Rare Beauty logo, and then you pull this up and then you can get it out of the sifter that way, versus it being an entire sifter. You're not lifting the entire product top off to get it. It just makes it very easy to not make a mess, and it comes out very easily. I'm not having to bang the product on the top to get the product out. So this is light medium. There are no shimmers or glitter or anything like that in this. I don't want anybody to see soft radiance and have that be something they're worried about. But I like using a powder like this. I think you could probably see that that really kind of evened everything out as far as any shine that may have been left over. But I like using something like this over a matte foundation. Just wears really pretty. Do you see this? I just can't. I mean, maybe I don't love this foundation because it's doing that. I can't have it do that. And every single time I've worn it, it has done that. We're gonna ignore it. I do like the setting powder. I've used it with other foundations. It's very pretty. If you are someone who maybe needs the effect of a setting powder but don't like the look of anything, I would look into this because it certainly does not look like powder on the skin at all. I don't have a new highlight, so I'm just gonna use my Jane Iredale Peaches and Cream. This is supposedly a bronzer, but this does not bronze my skin. It highlights, and I love using it whenever I want that peachy look. For blush, I'm going to use my Clinique Cheek Pop in Nude Pop. I talked about this in my favorites video, but I haven't used it on camera yet, so I thought I would do that. Just a perfect what it says, nude color blush. And looks better on this side of my face than it does on this side of my face because I don't have a big white spot. I'm gonna finish off with a little bit more, or a lot of bit more of the Beauty Pie Skin Mist. And then to finish up my eyes, I'm going to quickly just take some of that peach color that we used in the crease, use that underneath because you can never have enough peach. I did not have a new mascara, so I used my tried and true Jane Iredale Beyond Lash Volumizing Mascara, and I don't have a new lipstick. So I pulled out the Beauty Counter Sheer Genius Conditioning Lipstick in the shade Lily. I thought the peach shade complemented the eye makeup. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. A couple ups and downs. Honestly, I don't know what to think about the foundation now. I just got to keep trying it and see if I can get that little mix-up fixed. Love the eyeshadow. Love the setting powder, and I enjoy the bronzer under this foundation better than over, and I will continue to try it with other foundations, but I do like the color and how it ends up looking on the skin. So thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. I will be doing another new makeup one probably very soon, and there will be separate foundation reviews for the new Charlotte Tilbury and Chanel foundations coming your way shortly. So definitely stay tuned for that. I hope you're all staying happy, healthy, safe, and sane, and that most of all, you go out and have a very blessed day.